Tonight, we'll take a look at Auburn's new COVID guidelines, the Easter egg hunt this weekend, and Auburn's new First 56 project. Then we'll let you know some of the national updates on the war in Ukraine, as well as some information on a possible fourth COVID vaccine. We'll end tonight by going over our National Day, as well as our Pet of the Week. All of that and more coming up on Eagle-Eye's Thursday News Show at 6. Good evening and welcome to Eagle-Eye News at 6. I'm Nicholas Wetzel.
And I'm Jakai Spikes. Informed by the latest state and federal guidance, the university is updating its guidance on COVID-19. Effective May 6th, the following updates will be made to Auburn's COVID-19 response. The COVID-19 Resource Center website remains the primary source of information. Calls and emails to the COVID-19 Resource Center will not be monitored in real time and instead will receive an automated message directing the individual to various resources on campus. Students, faculty, and staff continue to be expected to self-report a positive COVID test. As a result of lower case numbers, weekly updates on cases, testing, self-reports, and vaccination data will no longer be available. Contact tracing will no longer occur. Quarantine and isolation housing will no longer be offered. Emergency COVID-19 administration leave will not be extended for eligible employees.
Ketanji Brown Jackson has made history as the first Black woman to be confirmed to the Supreme Court. The Senate voted 53 to 47 to confirm her as a justice earlier today. Vice President Kamala Harris, who's the first Black woman to serve as vice president, presided over the vote. Since 3 Republicans voted in favor, Harris is not needed to cast a tie-breaking vote. President Joe Biden promised during his campaign he would nominate a Black woman to the Supreme Court if the opportunity came up. Ketanji Brown Jackson's appointment does not change the ideological balance of the court. She is replacing retiring Justice Stephen Breyer, who typically sides with liberals on decisions.
The Auburn University COVID Resource Center has reported 18 new positive COVID cases for the week of March 21st through March 27th. This number is slightly higher than the previous week of cases, but maintains consistent with the continuing decline since Auburn students arrived back on campus for the spring semester. In addition, the center has also reported that out of 166 on-campus tests administered between March 21st and the 25th, only 2 came back with a positive result. That is a 1% positivity rate, which is half of last week's number. The East Alabama Medical Center has seen a decline in hospitalizations and ventilator usage since the start of the new semester. The center itself continues to reside in visitation level red, according to its last official report on January 26. You can stay updated on Auburn's COVID situation and schedule your own vaccination by visiting the Auburn COVID Resource Center website.
We will now turn to Coleman Turnipseed, the Auburn SGA Vice President, for our weekly update on the Student Senate. Let's take a look.
Hi everyone, my name is Coleman Turnipseed and I'm the Vice President of the Student Government Association. This week in the Student Senate, we had the opportunity to hear the final lecture from Professor Michael Kearly before our meeting. The final lecture allows all students the opportunity to collectively recognize their favorite professors, celebrating those that have made extraordinary contributions to Auburn University through classroom teaching and service to the university. After the final lecture, we conducted our usual Senate proceedings. This week, we confirmed our Assistant Vice Presidents and Executive Directors for the SGA Cabinet, the Vice President for College of Human Sciences, and the President and Vice President for the College of Veterinary Medicine, and the Miss Auburn Chief of Staff. The Student Senate is held every Monday night in the Student Center room 2222 and 2223 at 7:30 p.m. and is also...
If you're looking to get more involved on campus, Travis Harrison has all the details that you need to know. Let's take a look.
Hi everyone, my name is Travis Harrison, and I hope everyone is having a great week. There are dozens of events going on in Auburn this week, so let's jump right in. First up, Glomerata distribution is going to be starting Tuesday. The Glom is Auburn's yearbook, and tons of work goes into it. They'll be set up at tables all around campus, so make sure to stop by one of the tables and pick up your copy. There are a limited number of books, so you have a better chance of getting one if you look out for them early in the week. Next, on Thursday, the 14th, UPC is hosting a movie night in partnership with the Astronomical Society. It'll be at the Davis Arboretum starting at 7 p.m. They're showing Interstellar, an epic movie about space travel. There will be free pizza, snacks, and soft drinks provided. UPC will also be giving out blankets on a first-come, first-served basis. If you want to play it safe, you can bring your own blanket or chair. The last event that we're going to talk about this week is the World's Fair. Come on by and join the International Student Organization on Friday the 15th from 4 to 6 p.m. At the event, there will be people from all countries all over the world showcasing their culture, traditions, and through tabling and performances. There'll be free food and free stuff at the event, so make sure to come by and experience bits and pieces of the world and be part of the fun. As always, there are dozens of other events going on, so make sure you check out AU Involve. Thank you, and War Eagle.
When we return from this short break, Auburn University has a new office in Washington, D.C., and Auburn is celebrating API Month. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
The Welcome to Campus sentiment should last longer than syllabus week, and the First 56 is doing something about it. The First 56 is a series of curated events hosted by campus departments and student organizations, and it will offer 8 weeks of programming designed to showcase student life on campus. Auburn has endless opportunities for students that cannot be featured in 1 week, so the first 8 weeks of the fall semester will serve as Auburn's official welcome to new and returning students, intentionally helping students make Auburn feel like they're home away from home. For more information and details on submitting an event, email first56@auburn.edu.
Though it is nationally recognized in May, Auburn will host an early celebration of Asian American and Pacific Islander, or API, Heritage Month. While the campus is still engaged for the spring semester, Auburn will honor the history, culture, and achievements of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islander Americans. This year at Auburn, there are several events leading up to the month for students and other members of the Auburn community to learn and celebrate API culture. On April 12th, Dr. Jason Chang will speak on the Brown Bag Lunch Series on Taiwan in the Student Center from 12:30 to 2 p.m. On April 14th, there will be a calligraphy class hosted by the Korea Center and King Sejong Institute in Foy Hall from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. All day, April 19th, the Cross-Cultural Center for Excellence is hosting a celebratory API event. On April 30th, Auburn City Fest is hosting Korea Fest at Kiesel Park from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. To learn more about Auburn's events and initiatives from this past year, visit the Office of Inclusion and Diversity's website.
Auburn University's libraries next Discover Auburn's Lecture Series program features Laura N. Hill, communications editor at the Encyclopedia of Alabama, speaking on the women's suffrage movement in Auburn and East Alabama. Suffragists in East Alabama will include names familiar to the Auburn family. Women with names such as Carrie, Martin, Glenn, and Petrie were among the first women to register to vote in Lee County in October 1920. The program will be Thursday, April 14th at 3 p.m. and is available as both as an in-person lecture in the Caroline Marshall Draughton Auditorium on the ground floor of the RBD Library or as a Zoom meeting with the meeting ID 488-231-6628.
Auburn Parks and Recreation will host its second annual Eggcellent Easter Scavenger, beginning this Saturday, April 9th, and ending Wednesday, April 13th. A clue will be posted on Facebook at 8 a.m. each day of the scavenger hunt. The first clue will lead participants to one of the city's parks or recreation facilities. Participants must use their phones to scan the QR code on the Easter egg to find the next clue. Once they have found all the clues within that location, they will be prompted to enter their name into the drawing for a prize. 5 lucky participants will win a $25 gift card to a local business. Winners will be drawn at random on Thursday, April 14th. For more information, contact gfilgo@auburnalabama.org or visit the City of Auburn's Facebook page.
Auburn University is establishing a significant presence in the nation's capital with the creation of a new Office of Federal Relations, headed by an Auburn alumnus with many years of federal government experience. Andrew Newton, who most recently served as the staff director of the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on Financial Services and General Government, was recently named the director for Auburn's newly created office. He began in the role on April 1st. The new office in Washington, D.C. will serve as a hub between the university and both elected and appointed officials from the federal legislative and executive branches, helping bring Auburn expertise and capabilities to bear on federal priorities. Those wanting to contact Auburn's Office of Federal Relations can do so by emailing to andrew.newton@auburn.edu.
When we come back, we'll cover updates on gas prices, a stomach virus, and COVID-19 vaccines. You're watching Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
For the second straight week, the nation's average gas price has fallen, declining 5.4 cents from just a week ago. Per gallon, the price stands at $4.17. The national average is still more than 25 cents up from just a month ago. President Biden's announcements last week that the U.S. would be releasing 180 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve caused a further decline in oil prices in nearly all areas of the country. Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis at GasBuddy, said as long as oil prices remain under $100 per barrel and there are no escalations in Russia's war on Ukraine, we can anticipate gas prices to continue to decrease.
Across Ukraine, Russia's unprovoked war has forced millions to flee their homes. The UN reports more than 4.2 million people have now fled Ukraine, and more than 7.1 million people have been internally displaced. That's a 10% increase since the first survey by the International Organization for Migration 3 weeks ago. More than 50% of displaced households have children, and 57% include elderly family members. On Tuesday, a Ukrainian deputy prime minister said more than 3,800 people were evacuated through humanitarian corridors.
The Food and Drug Administration is warning of potentially contaminated raw oysters. The agency is working with U.S. and Canadian public health authorities regarding a norovirus outbreak that has been linked to raw oysters from British Columbia. The FDA has confirmed that the oysters were distributed to restaurants and retailers in at least 13 states. Norovirus can affect people of all ages. The most common symptoms are diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, and also stomach pain. Other symptoms include fever, headache, and body ache. Symptoms usually develop 12 to 48 hours after being exposed to the virus. People typically recover in 1 to 3 days.
The National Institutes of Health is studying different types of COVID-19 vaccine boosters. Dr. Anthony Fauci says the NIH launched a clinical trial last week. It will evaluate the safety and effectiveness of boosters available to use against future coronavirus variants.
What we'll be doing is assessing different fourth doses that are either ancestral strain or variant specific in the first phase of the study. In the second phase of the study, we're planning on looking at different vaccine platforms for the purpose of getting a great durability than we currently have.
When we return, we'll see what National Day it is, as well as show you the adorable pet of the week. Stay tuned.
Following water and tea, this is the third most popular drink. Perhaps there's a porter or a Belgian in your glass. Whether yours is fermented or not, dark or pale, hoppy, bitter, or smooth, let's raise your mug. Happy National Beer Day. One of the world's oldest prepared beverages, beer possibly dates back to 9500 BC when cereal was first farmed. It is also recorded in the written history of ancient Iraq and ancient Egypt. Lift it high among friends around the world, thanking those who work brewing delicious beer in your local area. And besides, beer lovers have more selection than ever before. The craft beer industry continues to challenge the classics, providing a wide variety of choices. Thanks to these opportunities, new beer drinkers are joining the club every single day. To celebrate today, crack open a cold one with the boys. Use hashtag National Beer Day to post it all over social media.
An 11-foot female hammerhead shark was found on a Florida beach. Sarah Anwar explains what may have led to its death.
We know this hammerhead shark washed up here on Pompano Beach sometime over the late night hours. Early morning beachgoers experiencing a mix of emotions from wonderment to heartbreak.
Wow, there's a shark on the beach. I've never seen that before.
A shock to Pompano beachgoers this morning. A large hammerhead shark washed up on the sand. Beach residents telling us earlier this morning the shark was even closer to the shoreline.
They brought in a bobcat and moved it out of the water because they didn't want it to go back into the water.
This 11-foot female hammerhead shark washed up here on Pompano Beach. You can see her here now. There are scientists from the American Shark Conservancy on site right now. They plan to collect samples from her and study her before moving her up the beach.
It potentially has to do with post-release mortality, which means that this species in particular gets a little stressed out when it's caught. It fights really hard.
Scientist Hannah Med tells us what may have led to the untimely death of the nearly adult hammerhead, the frazzled shark swimming onto shore late last night after an encounter with fishermen.
There is some fishing line still in her gills, and from earlier pictures there was a large hook on the side of her mouth, which indicates she was probably involved in fishing.
Nearby construction crews using equipment to move the shark away from beach crowds before scientists collect more samples and she's removed and buried. What do you think when you see the shark?
I'm like, oh my gosh, there's literally a shark sitting on the beach that washed up.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
No, I haven't.
Some staring in excitement at the rare sight, others realizing the heartbreaking reality of what happened here.
You never want to see an animal this big laying on the beach. This thing's 11 foot long and over 500 pounds. And it's a female, so it's always sad when a female passes.
Now, who said older pets don't deserve just as much love? Our new pet of the week, Squeaky, is as precious as a precious 6-year-old lady looking for a home she can just relax in. Squeaky loves to roam around in search of the best nap spots she can find and is always ready for a cuddle or two in the afternoon when you get home. She'd be the perfect companion for laying on the couch watching TV, and her cute face would be the perfect greeting after work. Squeaky is vaccinated, fixed, microchipped, and FIV/FELV negative. Adopt this fluffy princess for $125.
We're out of time, but for more Auburn news, head over to our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, and check out our social media pages. I'm Nicholas Wetzel.
And I'm Jakai Spikes. Thank you so much for watching, and War Eagle!